Good evening to all the viewers of Youth of Ayurveda throughout the nation, across the country, my friends, my students. Welcome to you the series of the Youth of Ayurveda. First of all, I'm thankful to Dr. Dharmantari Jha, who has given me an opportunity to talk on this very precious topic related with Dravya Guna. Dear friends, my name is Dr. Dilip Jani. The just short introduction given by Dhanvantari Jha regarding me. Just let us talk about our subject. The subject is extremely crucial, and nowadays, particularly in this uh, season of corona and other diseases, the subject plays very important role as far as the medications are concerned. Now, if we think about how this subject is come into an existence, just a brief about the history of this particular subject. If we go through the Ashtanga Ayurveda, we will find that there is no subject like Dravyaguna or drug related any topic among the 8 main branches of Ayurveda. However, as the time goes on, the people become more materialistic. They left all the sadvichar, achar, vihar, and everything, and seems to be purely depend upon the medicines. So by that time, they realized that yes, there is a need of some kind of medications, type of some medicines, and let us we should create a special branch which especially deals with the drugs, herbs, their activities, their actions, and everything. However, just see what should be the topic, what are the topics related with Dravyaguna and everything. In the initiations of any system like Ayurveda, we find some typical quotations. The first one is Pratyaksham hi alpam analpam apratyaksham. Or we'll find some more conditions like Purusho ayam lokasammitaha or pinde tad brahmande, like that. So we'll think that our acharyas, our old rishi munis, they specifically dealt this topic, especially when they realized that yes, there is a need of medications. They started thinking about all these topics, and they find that there is a commonality in the universe, and the same it exists into the body also. They started with observing everything. They typically observed each and every issues related with the nature. After due observations, they find that there is something commonality and there is something speciality that we consider as a samanya and a vishesha, the common and the special one. Their huge thoughts, they tried to correlate with the different issues. The thought of propagating any plant, the thought of sun, the thought of moon, the thought of stars, the thoughts of cold, the thought of hot, everything. Whatever they have correlated, they formed one hypothesis. Yes, this may be due to this one, this may be due to this one. Whatever they have hypothesized, they start implemented through experimentations. Let us go on an experimentation. They go on doing some experimentations. Once they got some leads in that one, they gone again for its modifications. They modified their experiments. Once they have modified, they confirmed that yes, this is happening by this way. This is happening by this way, like this. They created through its reproducibility. Is the data is reproducible? Whether the experiment is give a repeated data. Once they got the repetition data, they established a concept. The concept of tridosha, the concept of kapha, the concept of pitta, the concept of dhatu, the concept of mala, the concept of upadhatu, the concept of rasa, concept of virya, vipaka, etc. All this concept doesn't arise at sudden. Probably there may be years together. They come on conclusion, yes, this is happening, this is happening. This is, I'm talking about a realistic Ayurveda. We will not talk about latest what happened, who has given the Samhita and how far it is valid and everything. So likewise, with due respect to their creations, they created theories. First of all, they come through the Darshanik Shastra, the Darshanas, Vaisheshik Darshanas, Nyaya Darshanas, Charvak, everything. They at least they come on one conclusion that yes, there is existence of Panchamahabhutas. They created one theory, the theory of Panchamahabhutas. To make it more medically practicable, they discussed or concise the same Panchamahabhuta theory in dhatus, in tridoshas, and later they have implemented it. The same they have incorporated this theory in herbs also, drugs also. Whatever there is tridosha in body, probably the same with opposite gunas in dravyas also. And they have correlated these facts and started giving its working, its activities showing and everything. So likewise, when they come across that there are n number of diseases in the society and there is a need, a huge need to cure them, the first goal they thought that why should not they should try everything on drugs, on herbs, and let us apply in the body itself. So likewise, this is happening and the drugs are arising. The drugs were evolved, their activities were shown, they found that it is a reproducible and everything. So likewise, so Dravya Guna is a subject that we know that it is a considered as a materia medica or pharmacology of Ayurveda medicines. It means that it deals with the drugs, it deals with their activities, their properties, their identification, their characterizations, etc. So all this matter where it is discussed related with drugs, that is called as Dravyaguna subject. So this is a very introductory class or introductory session where we just discuss about what is Dravyaguna, how far it is discussed. Let us think how the subject is dealing. The drug is dealing with two parts. One is the theoretical parts, where the theories, the concepts, the ideas, the ideologies are discussed. And the second one is related with the drug individually. What is the identity of drug and everything. So in the first part, where we are discussing the conceptual part, we will discuss about the definitions of drugs. The definitions, what are their different characters, how to identify a particular drugs, what are the different etymological derivations of that particular words, that all are discussed in the first part, that is Dravyaguna part 1. Apart from these dravyas, their classifications, their different applications, this classification was made in different pattern. So that is also discussed in the paper 1. The same concentration with this one, the second part is related with gunas. What are the properties of dravyas? These gunas are n number of gunas. Here in Ayurveda there is different classification. That is Paradi gunas and Guruvadi gunas. Guru, Laghu, Ushna, Shita. These are the major gunas that are considered as Guruvadi gunas. Whereas there are some applicable point of view gunas that is considered as Paradi gunas. Their different classification was mentioned. Gunas are nothing but properties. When we are choosing a particular drug for a particular disease, what are the different components based on which it can be selected, that is considered under the categories of gunas. Later it was discussed with the rasa. Now rasa, guna, virya, vipak, they are all seems to be the unique one. Seems to be the same. But to simplify the science, we have categorized in a different modes. Like what is the concept of rasa, guna, virya, and vipak. So like that. So in the same sequence, the rasas. Rasas means taste. There are 6 rasas. Madhur, amla, lavan, katu, tiktan, kashai. That's sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent, etc. So these are all rasas. How far they are affecting to the bodies, how to assess them, what are the different character, different effect of drug if we take in excessive quantity. These all were studied and discussed in this particular chapters. The next chapter is related with the virya. Virya is nothing but potency. Any drug, it acts through its potency. How to assess that potency? How this potency verifies? How to give the best of that particular drug through potential way? So these are all points are discussed in potency. That is in virya. This is two generally shita and ushna. So these are it is discussed in virya also. The next topic is related with the vipaka. Vipaka means end product. Once the drug is taken through our orally, it goes to different type of metabolism. Later it converts into different forms. How far it is getting converted? What is the first metabolism? What is the second metabolism? What is the third metabolism? How far? What are the end products? Everything that is discussed in the Vipak. And that too in a very conceptual way, that is Ayurvedic point of view, that is related with the Vipaka. It is again majorly categorized into Avasthapak and Nishthapak, the initial phase and latter phase, in a simplification way. The last point that we discussed with Prabhav. Prabhav means even though we know there is a similarity in two drugs, despite of that one particular drug behaves very differently as compared to the other one. Why it is behaving differently? What are the different compositions? What is its speciality? So that is discussed with in the Prabhav chapter. Overall, the last chapter, particularly conceptual point of view, that is nothing but karma. Karma is nothing but the activity of a drug. What are the different types, its swarup, its lakshanas, definitions, that all covers under a different type of karmas, and these karmas are nothing but Ayurveda have very little explained, hardly 35-40 karmas in different way they have explained it. But if we consider overall of activity of a drug, we can see that all 40-45 karmas, they grab entire pharmacological mode through their wide descriptions. Some of the karmas like Deepan, Pachan, Samshodhan, Samshaman, Anuloman, Stranchan, Bhedan, Virechan, like that. Through this karma, our Rishi Munis try to explain that yes, this is a mode of action of a drug and how they behaves. The examples given by them, they are very unique one. We can consider them as a standard one and we can compare the other drugs in relation with that one. So likewise, these are all things basically comes under the category of conceptual part of Dravya, where this is the main thing based on which the entire pharmacology or materia medica of Dravya is depending. Later on, if we see the next part of this particular subject that deals with the different Mishraka Gana. Mishraka Gana is nothing but a combination of a particular drugs. This combination is made in such a way that that particular conjugation will give a specific type of results. If we prepare that conjugation, that combination, it will have a very specific results. It may be differ in their quantities, but all in unique way. They have a very typical activities. We can prepare the formulations also, and the same is applied in a different way. Like Kantak Panchamula, Madhyam Panchamul, Trifala, Trikatu, Trimada, etc. So all these combinations will have their own speciality and they are applied in a different mode of actions also. Apart from this, our Acharya has given different unique drugs under the name of Agre Dravya, that is considered the very special drugs. One drug, one action. In that sense, they have given Agre Dravya. Apart from this, Charaka has also mentioned Dashaimani. the total 10 drugs for one activity. Probably all 10 drugs may representing different mode of actions for the same activity. So that to also be taken care while studying all this, the Shemanis also. Apart from this, we will try to understand what is the nomenclature. If we see Ayurveda, you will find that there are n number of synonyms are given to a particular drug. That synonyms represents the drug's identity, its total structure, its descriptions, its activity, its properties, etc. So, in totality, the meaning of all synonym is representing a drug in a different form. So, that is also one thing that can be studied under Dravya Guna. Apart from this, there are other uh, topics like Sangraha Vidhi, how to collect the drugs. There are a number of theses also done. One just recently we have completed one more thesis from one of my PG student that she worked only on the collection of drugs and their useful parts. So what are the different um, climatic conditions, different chantings and everything that plays a very important role while collecting a drug. So that is also in Ayurveda there is also specifically guidelines has been mentioned, the reasoning behind that, the science behind that, that should be studied in deep. Apart from this, we can study the literature of different nighantus. Nighantus are those who specifically describe the drugs in a very different way. Somebody has described the drugs with their properties, their synonyms, their actions, and everything. Somebody described the same drug in a different way. Let it be, they have described only ahara dravya, dietetics drugs. Somebody has described only the drugs acting only on doshas and their categorizations. So, like that, some of the Nigantus can also studied under this particular subject. This subject also deals with the modern pharmacology. The recent CCM syllabus that contains some of the topics related with the modern pharmacology. That is, what is pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, drug adverse effects, then etc. A number of points. The only mean why we are studying the modern pharmacology is to understand the parallel science and try to define all drugs through that science, or probably sometimes we can defend the activity of our drug where sometimes somewhere such our drugs they are wrongly claimed negative, and in those conditions when we try to convince the properties of ayurvedic drugs, at least we should know the modern pharmacology. It will make a simplification for us to explain them that yes, this is the way this is acting. And now, yes, our students, our fraternity is doing well in this subject also. The next, particularly paper 2 related with Dravya Guna, and it is completely related with the drugs and the descriptions. A single drug. Let us will take example of Guduchi, Tinospora cardifolia, how it looks, what are the different properties, what are the rasa guna vire vipak, what is the botanical descriptions, how far it is acting, how it is acting. Likewise, this all topic conceptually is discussed under this way. So this is thing. Apart from this, we are studying about the Jangam Dravya, some of the Ahar Dravya, and etc. So this entire topic, whatever I have discussed now, it is comes under the category of Dravya Guna, and in Dravya Guna we are discussing every point in this one. The practical contents of Dravya Guna contents to visit the plants, to know its through your naked eyes how it looks, what are the botanical variations, how to identify particular drugs, what are the synonyms, how many synonyms they are matching with it, try to collect its herbarium, how to preserve herbarium, what is the importance of herbarium. It also contains some microscopic sections of some drugs, how to identify a pharmacognostically that particular drug through microscopy, and likewise. So this entire theory and practicals, they cover the Dravya Guna subject in a quite meaningful way. Now, the series of Draviguna or latter topics will explain you in detail about everything, and probably we will discuss also the same topic in details. So, this is just an introduction of Draviguna subject. I'm very thankful to the team Youth of Ayurveda, especially Dr. Dhanvantari Jha and his team, to giving me an opportunity to talk or share some topics with you. I hope that you could able to uh, understand what I want to convey. If there are some queries, definitely all are welcome. We'll have a grand discussion, and I hope that what the intention of our thoughts, the vision created by Dhanvantari, will go ahead and will have a lot of success. Jai Dhanvantari, Jai Ayurveda. Thank you so much.